you for joining me today. It's Brian Gubernick, and welcome to the No Days Off podcast, where we believe that every single day brings a new opportunity to get better. Today, I want to get better at developing our specific knowledge. Specific knowledge. Now, this term, while I'm sure many have talked about specific knowledge, it is one that really was brought about in my world by a gentleman, Naval Ravikant. I think he is one of the smartest individuals on the planet right now. The guy has been an investor in dozens upon dozens of incredibly successful companies. He's also a thought leader and focuses on wealth, focuses on happiness. And most recently, I had our Metrics Masterminds group read a book, The Almanac of Naval Ravikant, because that book is one that sits on my desk always. It's one that I reference more than most any other, and it's probably my favorite of the past year or two. You probably hear me say I have favorite books all of the time, and I certainly do, but this particular book, one that I'm always referencing and one that I'm always gifting, it is absolutely one of my top three over the past couple of years. So the Almanac of Naval Ravikant, or specifically Naval Ravikant, he talks about specific knowledge. And what he's referring to is a type of expertise or skill that is distinct, that is specialized, in contrast to, say, like generic knowledge or general knowledge. Specific knowledge is knowledge that you possess that is unique, that is valuable, and that's not easily replicated by others. It's the kind of knowledge that sets you apart. It's the kind of knowledge that creates opportunities for you because you're special. Now, there's a few key points to understanding specific knowledge according to Naval, and I want to share that with you, okay? So specific knowledge, again, I mentioned valuable and rare skills. So specific knowledge refers to skills, insights, and or expertise that are in demand but not commonly found. So this could be for you a deep understanding of some sort of niche subject, or maybe a specialized technical skill, or maybe even a unique perspective on some sort of problem. So for the many salespeople that are in fact listening to this podcast, recognize that if you've mastered the sales game, that is a form of specific knowledge. If you are in real estate sales and you have a specific niche or area of expertise that sets you apart from everybody else, that is specific knowledge. Which kind of leads to number two around the points to understand specific knowledge, differentiation. Having specific knowledge differentiates you from others. So it allows you to provide unique value and solutions that are not easily replaced, that can't be just performed or provided by your competition or even automation. Number three, monetization. Specific knowledge oftentimes is more directly monetizable compared to just general knowledge. So if you're an expert, if you have specific knowledge in a niche or an area, you're able to monetize that special skill because it helps solve problems that others just can't solve. Which segues into the fourth key point, opportunities and leverage. Possessing specific knowledge can open up all sorts of opportunities for you. It also can give you tremendous leverage in different business opportunities or endeavors because you bring something unique to the table. There are other key points about specific knowledge, but where am I going with this? The focusing question for you is going to be, what is your area of specific knowledge? What would you say you know better than most anybody? Have you doubled down in that area? And how, in fact, are you maximizing the opportunities, the leverage, the financial, opportunities? How are you taking advantage of this specific knowledge? A good example of this, I've got a guy that's worked with me for quite some time now, a guy named Ryan. And many of you maybe know Ryan. He has coached with me at Metrics. I have been in partnerships with him in other areas. And recently, I had him join our team at Place. And I think about Ryan when I think about specific knowledge, because Ryan is very, very, very knowledgeable in real estate CRMs. He understands all of the different CRMs that are out there. He understands technically how they're used. He knows how to maximize them. He has a deep understanding of the tech aspect of all of these CRMs, of all of these database management tools. However, in addition to that, which one would argue that alone is specialized knowledge, but in addition to that, Ryan understands the real estate sales game. So he's got this unique ability to take this technical experience and knowledge as it pertains to database management, yet speak real estate sales at the same time. In other words, he can take that knowledge and explain it in the real estate sales world. In other words, he takes technical, challenging topics, things that most don't understand when you get into the weeds of the technology, and he's able to more or less translate that into real estate speak. So he's got this specific knowledge because he understands CRM and he understands sales. And because of that, he's incredibly valuable. Because of that, I want him in the businesses that I'm part of. Because that skill that he has is not an easy one to replicate. It takes not just a desire or passion to understand the tech side of things as well as the sales side of things. It takes time. It takes experience. It takes a lot of conversation and studying and honing of your craft. Ryan has specific knowledge. And because of this, Ryan monetizes it and has built a pretty solid career for himself as a result. So going back to you, I want you to think about your knowledge. And would you say it's all general and broad, which we all have to have some degree of general and broad understanding? And if so, great, but is there an area or a niche or a focus that you'd say you've mastered, that you're better at than everybody else around you, and that you're able to capitalize on if in fact the opportunity were to present itself? Those that have a specific knowledge are the future, according to Naval. In this world where there's so much noise, so much competition, automation, and all of these things, the individuals that possess this specific knowledge that's not easy to replicate, this specific knowledge that you can't just go read a book and suddenly apply. That's what separates you and makes you indispensable. That's what makes you irreplaceable. So what do you have? If you're sitting back and you're like, gosh, you know what? I wouldn't say I've got specific knowledge in any one area. Okay, cool. Glad you acknowledged that. Glad you recognized it. What steps are you going to take today to begin to develop your specific knowledge? And if you're a parent, and you know I'm always going to bring it back to the kids. If you're a parent and you've got a young kid or a high school kid or even a kid getting into college or maybe just out of college, recognizing that those that have specific knowledge create more opportunity or are more valuable to the workplace and to the world at large. How can you influence your kids to get focused, to develop a passion, to double or triple or quadruple down on that passion and make it an area of expertise, thereby creating or making themselves, I should say, even more valuable than they are today? General degrees in college are great. But when you get specific, when you carve out your niche, that's when you become incredibly valuable. That's all I have for you today. The No Days Off podcast. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, every single day brings a new opportunity to get better. So let's get after it.